got here as quick as I could. How you feeling? Yeah, it's that time of year where we live. It's winter time, and fortunately we get a little bit sick at this time of year. But, you know, it's always helpful to have friends that can come round and say hello. And hello. So tell me, what's been going on in your life? Oh, you want to hear about me? You find that cheers you up. And you like listening to some of the stories that I tell. I understand, I get that. I kind of get that quite a lot from someone in my life. Oh, you like hearing about what we do? Okay. So, me and the Mig, let's see, what do we do? Today's Tuesday, Sunday, we went for an adventure. That was the deal. And so what we like doing is we like heading up into the mountains and just seeing what we can get into. You know, it's really nice being around nature, and I find it quite relaxing, and it's just good just to get away from that sort of hustle and bustle. Like coming here, it was just so much traffic and I couldn't. And, you know, when I was younger, I'd find things like that would make me feel a little bit frustrated. But, you know, in life, there's not a lot you can do about traffic, and some people are a little bit slower at driving and they're a little bit more cautious. So I've tended to let that type of frustration go, because, you know, it doesn't make other people feel good. And I think that's something that's important. Like right now, here I am, just talking to you and just being here and just having the presence of the two of us together. It has an effect on people. You know, as we disassociate ourselves with the reality of this world where we're interacting a lot in a non-face-to-face situation, it kind of has an impact on us that hasn't really been calculated. But we're not going to talk about that. All right, so let's see. Adventure. Now, adventure must include something outside. Adventure isn't playing video games. So what we like to do is we like to go up to the mountains. And what do we do today? So one of the things we really like doing is having a small fire. And by doing this, I can teach the danger and what you would do to keep the fire contained and safe, and some of the risks that are involved in fire. Because I think that it's really good to be able to install that sense of. So it's important to know what to do in certain situations. Now, let's see, so our adventure, it began with our drive. And we have a little thing that we like to do deep inside the mountains. Has been dormant for many years. Lies a secret place called the Fudge Shop. And one of the things we like to do is we like to go get a little bit of fudge when we go up the mountains. And that's quite an exciting moment. And usually the first thing we do is we head up to the mountains, get a little bit of fudge from the fudge shop on top of the mountain. And then we go to a national park. And here in Australia, fire is a little bit sort of restricted. And there's a few national parks that have fireplaces where you're allowed to have fire. So that's where we kind of go. Oh, you want pictures? Alright, let's see. So, oh, there you go. That one there that's the Miggy. I think that's the first time he got his face painted at a place called Bunnings. Yeah, it's kind of cute. Let's see, where are we? Photos. Alright. Now, when we go, we must take toy cars. We actually take toy cars most places we go, so if we find a patch of dirt, we like to make roads and play toy cars. It gives you a little bit of an example of the park. And there's our quite serious fire. It had a lot of heat. So I took a big chunk of hardwood and got my old trusty knife, and I got a batten and a big piece of wood, and I just started batting it. I kind of wanted to test the knife out because it was pretty hardwood. Just a little something for you. That's some silly faces. But anyway, so we go up the mountain, and you know, the goal today was, or the goal on that day was to see if I can get my little fella to light the fire with a spark. And so last time we found some tinder, and it wasn't very good. It didn't work at all. We had to use a lighter. But this time we went a little bit more prepared. I just went down the road. There's paper bark trees everywhere. Yeah, paper bark trees. It's literally like paper. And you just scrape a little bit up, and you get like a nice little pile. You just scrape it up, and we practiced this at home before we went up to the mountain to do it. And like literally one spark lit the paper bark so easy, and I was like, yeah. And so we get up to the mountain. It was getting a bit windy. We stopped off on the way, got a little bit of firewood, so we got some like small twigs and stuff like that. And then we got some bigger stuff, and then we had the big chunk of hardwood. So we had a good bucket of wood that we collected on the way, and we had like a big chunk of hardwood that was what made the fire so strong. And so basically I put the wood into bundles, so really small sticks, and then pencil size sticks, and then finger size sticks. And I got a piece of dried grass that I collected on the way, and so I tried to get my little fella to strike, and he's trying to strike it, and he's trying, but you got to use a fair bit of pressure. It's not easy. And then I see him starting to strike it in the middle of nowhere, and I look at him, and he looks at me, and he says, "I'm practicing, Daddy." And I said, "I like the way that you're thinking about practicing first before you try and do it." And so he gave it a few goes, but it's kind of hard. And then I took over, thinking, Big Daddy's going to do it with one stroke. At home, like, I tried it twice, like literally a few strikes, and it was lit. But, once you go outside and the conditions, aren't so controlled, it was a bit difficult. But eventually, after about 10 or 20 strikes, it took quite easily. And then we put the dried grass on top, and then I taught my little fella how to put the little sticks on top first, and then the next big sticks, and just give it a bit of time for the fire to grow and to come to life, and then you can put the big sticks on. And one of the things he really, really loves just having the fire there, putting the sticks in the fire. He doesn't do anything silly or anything like that, but he genuinely just loves being in that environment. And so as he's growing, I've been teaching him certain techniques, and one of the things I'd like to teach him is how to get water to a state where you can drink it. And so I said to him, all right, now it's time for us to rotate, which means we do a different activity. And so, all right, it's time for a bit of bush kindy. I said, not kindy, but more like bush school. So I said, all right, let's go down to the creek. We need to get some sand and some rocks. But before that, before I put the fire into the fireplace, there was some really good bits of charcoal there. And my plan was to use that in my activity. And so I pulled some of that aside and I explained to him what it was and we were going to use it a bit later. So we went for a walk down the creek and he's run down the creek and he's jumping from like one rock to the next rock and he's wearing his school shoes, and I said, buddy, don't get the shoes wet. You can take your shoes off and go in the water if you want, it's going to be cold, but don't get your shoes wet. And then the next jump was he got his shoes a little bit wet. But, you know, I don't get angry over stuff like that. I said, come on. And so I said, we need some sand and some rocks. And he goes, what's the sand and the rocks for? And I said, well, you have to watch and learn. So off we went, got some sand, and we got some small rocks, and we got some bigger rocks. And I said, all right, let's go. And so we went back up to the fire, and I had some plastic bottles. And so what I did is in the car, I found some tissues. I was going to use a bit of fabric. I thought I had some rags in there, clean rags, but I must have used them for something. And anyway, there were some tissues in there, so I grabbed some tissues. And I said, all right. So I cut the bottle in half, and so I've got the water bottle with the lid down the bottom. Actually, I've got it. It's still here. Just wait a sec. Alright, sorry about that. It's surprising what we keep in the car. So anyway, we've got a bottle like this. We cut the top off. And so one part was the catching container. The other part was the filter, like this. And so the whole idea was to put it like that. So I got the bottle cap, put a couple of holes in the bottom. I stuffed tissue paper down there. And then I put some sand in there and I put some rocks. And here's some of the charcoal. Some of the charcoal from the previous fire. And so what we did is we put tissue paper, sand, small rocks, bigger rocks. Well, actually I put charcoal in there and then I put the bigger rocks on top. And so I was teaching him how to make a filter. And so we made the filter. And I put it like this. And he was very excited and he was pretty excited. I said, all right, let's go get some water. So we went down to the creek. I put the bucket into the water and I said, this water is not dirty enough. And he said, so can I put some more dirt in there? I said, yeah, let's make a ooey mooey gooey wombat stew. One of our little things. And so we put a bit of dirt in there, put a bit of leaves, and I said, all right, that's it. And we gave it a bit of a stir with a stick. We went up there and I said to him, we're going to drink this water. And he went, oh, no way, Dad. And I said, this is a filter. What we're going to do is we're going to turn dirty water into water we can drink. And so he got one of the little ends of the bottle and he started tipping water in here. Obviously you can't see much. That's the filter with the holes. And so the water goes through the charcoal, and the carbon in the charcoal helps to take some of the impurities out. You'll find that lots of water filters have carbon in them. And so the water goes through the carbon and the rocks, and it picks up all of the sticks and the bits of leaf and dirt and stuff like that. And the best part of the filter is probably the tissue paper, because that's going to really do a great job in catching any dirt and stuff like that. Like you'll see some of the dirt in here that it's catching. And then in the bottom comes clean water. So I'd explain to him that the water, even though it's clean, it's best not to drink it because there could be bacteria in there. And so some irresponsible person left a bottle lying around. So I put some water in the bottle and I put it into the edge of the fire. And I said, this is what we would do. I said, there'd be more than just that to get it working. Normally we'd have we'd use our clean canteen water containers to boil the water. But I just wanted to give them the example of filtering the water, cleaning the water, boiling the water, and making water safe to drink. So these are just a few little things that we kind of like to do. And we also like to find food that you can eat, edibles, wild edibles. So I've taught him quite a few different edible weeds that you can eat, plants. So there's a few plants along the coastline here in Australia that if you know just a few of them, you'd never go hungry if you're ever stuck in the bush, because you can always find food as long as you know which ones to eat. And so we'll go for a bit of a walk around and find a little bit of food, but normally we just find mat rush, which is everywhere, and we have a little nibble on that, and it tastes a bit like peas. And then you can use the leaves to make ropes, baskets, and all sorts of things. So this is kind of what we like doing when we go for our little adventure, is we head up the mountains, have a fire, and each time I'll try and teach him something new, something he can take away with him as he grows up. So that was our adventure on the weekend. Now we got school holidays coming up, and one of the things that is going to be kind of like a special occasion for us is we are going to the snow. Not the real snow. We are going to a place called in Brisbane, not far away from us, that has kind of like fake snow, or they import snow, or they make it. I don't know, but they have like a little environment where they have snow, where you can build snowmen, have a play, and I believe there'll be like a small toboggan or something like that. So that's something that is coming up, and we're quite excited for that. And each holidays we go to a place called Time Zone, where it has lots of arcade games. Because we don't really do any games in the house like that, only board games and paper dope games, it's quite a big thing for him. So he goes 4 times a year, and that's about it. And we like to go camping, but it's going to be cold. But I think we'll probably try and go for a couple of nights and just enjoy the cool, cold weather. So yeah, that's what's coming up. School. You want to know what we do each week as well? You like listening to these stories, I understand. So Oscar's been very, very, very busy, to be honest. And so one of the most important things we do on a weekly basis is swimming lessons. As you know, here on the east coast of Australia, there's a lot of water. And there's lots of rivers, lots of canals, lots of creeks, lots of pools, and a very, very big ocean. And if you understood some of the statistics of the danger of water, you would understand why it's a priority. So he's been doing swimming lessons for a while now, and he's at the point now where he's doing his overhand strokes, and then he's breathing, overhand stroke, and then breathing. It's strange though, when they're teaching him swimming, they're doing it like in 3 strokes and a breath. I remember doing 2 strokes and a breath, or 4 strokes and a breath. But I guess it's good for the ambidexterity to breathe on both sides. So he learns swimming, goes to school, he goes to gymnastics classes, he goes to martial art classes, and he does some language classes, and he does some art classes. You want to see some of the art? Hang on, I think I might have a little bit here. So we've got like a bit of a folder where we put some of the art in. So let's see if I can find pictures. Oh yeah, I could imagine. Yeah. Here we go. Now this photo. Let's see if you can see this photo so it doesn't rotate. So that's his artwork. That is, this one doesn't want to rotate. So that's some of his artwork there. There's another day in the mountains, the fire. Alright, I think that was all the artwork I've got. I think that would be it. Another day in the mountains. Yes, so, yeah, and so he's very, very busy. You know, I always intended for him to do swimming lessons, but I never wanted him to do too much. I didn't want to be one of those parents that had their kids doing so many different activities. I thought, you know, when do they get time for themselves? And it kind of laid on each other, and all of a sudden he's doing like 5 different activities a week, and I'm but kids are pretty resilient, and I'm finding that a lot of the things he's doing is benefiting him in a number of different ways. So it's my job as a father to give him the best start in life and give him the tools he needs to live his life in a way that is that he can make other people feel good. So that's something we talk a lot about, is emotional intelligence. I don't say emotional intelligence, but I try and teach him to understand emotions and how to regulate them and control them and to understand them. And there's so many little things. So, you know, it's not easy being a dad. When you get older, you'll realize and you'll appreciate all of the work and effort that parents can put in. You know, so that's how it is for me at the moment. So that is my life. I spend my time with my family, look after the little fella, and try and get him to that next step. It's always, you know, a few steps forward, a couple of steps back, a few sideways steps, maybe a step forward, a step back. I really do the best that I can. I am perfect, but I try. Okay, you're feeling a little bit sleepy now. Alright, I'll let you go now. Alright, you get some sleep, you rest, you relax, and you'll be as good as new in no time.